Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and I'm the host of Great Talking Entertainment official channel. And today's video is my spoiler review for the new series on Disney Plus by Marvel Television, Marvel's Wonder Man episode 5 spoiler review. So if you have not seen this show, people, please pause this. But before you go, could you do this one thing for me? Could you hit the like button, the AKA the thumbs up button? That would totally help my YouTube channel grow, and I thank you guys in advance and appreciate it. Come back and let me know what you think about episode 5 of Wonder Man. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned? No, let's get into it. This episode starts off with Simon and Trevor hanging out at some type of bar or restaurant type, or a little mixture of both. And they're just hanging out, having a good time, talking about, planning how to get the roles in the Wonder Man movie that's being made in this show. And they're just talking, and, Simon's obviously worrying about his abilities, and Trevor is there, spying on him for damage control department, or Department of Damage Control. And so there's still that. But a group of thugs come up to Trevor and reminds him, like, hey, you remember us? You owe us some money for all the narcotics that he's bought. And this is more reference to his scenes in the Iron Man 3 movie. And that's where that's referring to. Which I thought that was really cool. I like the little Iron Man reference because Trevor is the character that's more referenced to Iron Man because of just the Iron Man 3. So a lot of this is a callback to Iron Man 3, which, usually I don't remember, but I do remember a time a lot of people would hate on that movie, Iron Man 3. And now I just think people don't, or maybe they do. I just don't pay attention to it, to the hate to that movie. Because I personally think Iron Man 3 was a great movie. I thought, if you just base it on the 3 Iron Man movies, I think it's a A+ trilogy film. If you just do Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, just as those 3 alone, to me, again, it's an A+ trilogy. Like, it just, it makes sense. It comes back to a complete 360. And obviously, again, you see that character grow. You see Iron Man grow up. You see him change his perspective to life, And that's really cool. They're doing callbacks to that because, in a way, this is Trevor's version of that. I think that for Trevor, even though he doesn't technically have a solo films, but if you go Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi, the movie, and then you do this, he's but is having that moment where he's maturing, he's growing, he's realizing his wrongs from his doings. And he's looking for redemption. He wants to be a better person. And he wants to move on from that because that's not who he is anymore. Just like Tony Stark was in Iron Man 3. He was just moving on. He needed to grow. He needed to change. And he knew that. And he learned that from the Iron Man 3. So this is like from Iron Man 3 to Shang-Chi and in Wonder Man, this is kind of like in a way, his trilogy. A complete trilogy of just based on this character. And I think that's really cool. And to see these thugs just come back at him, because the thing that is, they said in Iron Man 3, which it really relates to this scene, is when Tony Stark narrated, like, sometimes your past comes back to haunt you again. I don't remember exactly how the quote went, but basically, now Trevor's past, since I would say at least episode 2 of Wonder Man, his past has been haunting him, coming back at him, because he has a past, he's made some decisions, and sometimes life wants to come back and collect from those things. So this is just one of the things. And so they're in this alley, and they're all armed up, and trying to make this right. Simon has to use his superpower ability, and then this kid who has a GoPro on his helmet on it while he was riding his, I think, a motor scooter, and catches it, and they're freaking out, and they're trying to find him, which is funny because Simon is like, his whole thing is, do not let anybody know that he has superpowers. Do not let him know. Let nobody know. Because if he goes out, he can't become an actor. And this is his dream, is to become an actor, a movie star, So, he's panicking, And I like the fact that Trevor's like, hey, can you have super speed powers? And he's like, we're gonna run in my car. It was just funny. Like, I just thought that was funny because it just shows the comedy and the best the bros. They're like they have like a bromance with each other, and they're always looking out for each other. And I just like the comedy. I thought that was pure gold funny, in my opinion. So I like that. We also get a scene too in this episode that Agent P is definitely feeling the pressure due to the fact that they're gonna get cut because they're not catching any superpower humans, right? And and I thought it was kind of strange that they had the raft. That's where they locked up everybody from in Captain America Civil War. That's where they put Jessica Jones' sister, Trisha, I presume. But they're not catching anybody else. This Department of the Damage Control. And so the pressure's on for Agent P. And he's got to get this cracking. And so he's really going to get on Trevor. But also, as the next scene is, we get Trevor and Simon. They're just driving around looking for this kid, and Trevor gets an email of the script of Barney. And this is kind of like Barney's turning on Wonder Man. And in a way, it's foreshadowing what's to come between Simon and Trevor. Because the guy who has this video has a full footage of Simon throwing these thugs around, like throw them into the garbage can, the wall, whatever. And in a way, though, if they catch him, which I presume they are, which they do, obviously. But that was just funny that the script in this is Barney, Wonder Man's like sidekick, friend, whatever. He's gonna turn on him, and it's kind of like I said, it's foreshadowing what's become between Trevor and Simon. Is because obviously Trevor's gonna be heartbroken. He's gonna be pissed off about it, and why did Trevor do this? Because he doesn't want to go back to prison. Even though he technically, by law, he needs to finish out his sentencing in prison. But I get it, and if you watch the I know they're on Disney Plus now, but there's like these Marvel shorts, and I think it's called All Hail, the Mandalorian, or All Hail the King, something like that. And Trevor was in prison, and everybody just wanted him to do the voice. But I think, since people haven't seen him, and he's not entertaining because he got out of prison. Well, he didn't get out of prison. He got taken out of prison which we learned that in the Shang-Chi movie. And with that, I think he knows that if he goes back to prison, he won't make it. And so that's an obvious. It, in a way, it makes him desperate. He feels like a coward too. But I totally get I understand the scenario that Trevor's in. But it's still going to be sad because I really, this episode to me really showcases their friendship. And here's why. Because in this episode too, they finally catch this kid. And this kid, says like, well, if you don't help me out, I'm going to release, it's going to get uploaded straight to YouTube, on his GoPro, which we later find out that you can't do that with the GoPro. Not this GoPro that this kid had. Jaden, that's his name too, by the way. And so Jaden tells him, like, hey, if you get my bike back, I'll give you the GoPro. And Trevor knew he was lying, right? But because he was being he was being side hustle, and so they go to this house, and there's these people who are just making these like this like candy. This is candy that you can. I mean, if you have the right star, it's like candy, like Spanish candy, right? Or you go to Mexico and you get the candy there, and they're really good. But you just bunch of people just trying to side hustle some candy like that, just Hispanic candy, and it's really good. And what was funny is there was a nosy neighbor who they call a Karen, as the cool kids would say. She calls the cops on them because the thugs found the car that Trevor and Simon were driving. And Jaden was in the back seat, and they brought him up. And, Trevor made friends with everybody who's making this candy, right? And it was just out of the ordinary. Really, the cops came, things got heated. But what I like is Jaden admitted and apologized to everybody. I'm sorry I got jealous. I'm sorry I got out of pocket. And then they got the GoPro and broke it. And then Trevor and Simon ran through the backyard, and I think everybody was fine. But after that, they got out of the house without being detected. They get a call. Well, Simon gets a call from his agent, and he says, hey, the director wants you at the house right now. Like, you and Trevor need to go and do this audition. And they were freaking out. But they got the role, I think. So that's good. But see, this is what I liked about this episode is episode 5 was like I guess this would be like the filler. The filler episode, as they like to call it. Because what does the idea of, like, it was like a side quest mission, like, because of Jaden's immaturity, right? And then, bunch of people he was hanging out with, he just wanted to take all the money and sell his own, like, Hispanic candy and stuff and do without them. So he got a little greedy, and he apologized, because those thugs, were going to take his life away because they wanted Trevor. They wanted to know if he's behind that door in that house and stuff. So that was like a side quest mission in a way. And it had a little funniness to it. It was gold comedy. And it wasn't like that serious because there was no ending. I think everybody was fine. But now it built up to like this. For Simon, this is too much for him. Like, he almost lost everything because the cops came. right? Because of this GoPro incident, because of Trevor's past catching up to him. And I said earlier, like, Trevor's trying to explain to Simon that he was sorry about it and he didn't mean to do it and stuff. And he was trying to show Simon, like, the bright side of this situation and stuff. And, like, you know, Jaden was lying through the whole time, and he was trying to explain to it because he has experience. So sometimes our past can be our experience to not make those same mistakes or help another person from preventing all that down that same path. So that's what I like about this episode. And again, the second thing I like to go back to is the comedy to it. It was funny. And the third thing that I like about this episode is that it was a good build-up to lead into episode 6, 7, and 8. Because now we're getting back to the main story. Can Trevor and Simon Williams get the roles that they're trying to get in, or just try to be part of the Wonder Man movie, right? And as actors and actresses do, you know, it's very stressful. They're nervous. They're scared, you know, and the more you gotta wait and the time, it feels like forever, and you feel the pressure. You just want to make a good impression when you audition for movies or a show. And again, this is typical. Again, this episode 2 is just typical showcasing of what a upcoming actor or actress would kind of go through. Because one, like, for Simon, it was just because he didn't want his superpowers to be exposed. But you should never ever do something the night before your auditions, because because it might come back at you, and it may affect your chances of getting that role, right? Because you know you never know. It's like a superstition thing, but that's what in real life actors and actresses do. Like they know, like, okay, I can't do nothing. I need to just stay home or do the minimum of less things so I don't screw up this opportunity for me, you know. And that's what Simon's been trying to do. Why Trevor is a showcase of somebody just, you know, who just goes with the flow, you know, throws caution to the wind, man. Like, and that's the beauty of the dynamic. But you're kind of really seeing two different personalities of a typical up and coming actor or actress. So that's what's really cool about this episode. But as far as a Marvel thing, the way it makes it Marvel Cinematic Universe, again, the callbacks to Iron Man 3, the way we're seeing him grow in a way, it was just a smaller mini story of it versus the Iron Man 3's movie. So that was really cool. So if I had to give this episode a 1 out of 10, I'm going to definitely give it a 7.5. Really good episode. Really great. Loved it. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. Let me know in the comments below what you think about episode 5 of Wonder Man in the comments below. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification button so you always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.